Gray, Paradox East, and Network Sweatshirt. Today we're talking about my Fashion Week tour, Funck Fashion, coming to Huntsville March 24th at Hap Space. Instagram, 3VAN6REY, Facebook, Evan Gray. Website will be coming very soon.
All right, welcome, Evan. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Man, I can't complain. We're here to talk about Fashion Week and one of the events that you're bringing to the Huntsville, Tennessee Valley, Rocket City area. Tell us about this event and why do you think it's important to Fashion Week?
So this event is it's taking the effort to do it yourself instead of leaning on these fashion weeks and sending them your submissions and waiting to hear back. And a lot of the fashion weeks have the same people in it year after year. So it was really just taking control and doing it yourself and realizing just the power and following you can have and having your shows during these fashion weeks, which just having your own solo show. I think a lot of fashion weeks have lost that. New York Fashion Week is more like if it's a Balmain show, it's a Balmain show. If it's Alexander Wang, it's Alexander Wang. Now these newer ones are kind of like, let's start a fashion week and have 20 designers in it and nobody is spotlighted. So this one's really just spotlighting myself and doing it yourself and doing 4 cities, so 4 different fashion weeks in 4 different cities.
All right.
DIY, to answer your question.
All right. And what's the title of your show that you'll be doing?
Funck Fashion Tour. So Funck Fashion. Like funky, but F fashion.
All right. And what's the story behind that? What makes that title? It says a lot.
Yeah,
so why that title?
The funk comes from my newer music, and my newer line is really punky and edgy, kind of on a metal side. So a lot of it stems from that, and just me I'm a somewhat rebellious person, and it also stems from the, can I cuss?
Yeah.
Okay, so just saying like just fuck fashion to the extent of just how much insecurities fashion can cause in people, how racist or how sexist or just how undiversified the fashion industry can be. So just all of that, just funk it.
Alright. Now, you spoke of diversity and some of the things that go on discriminations and some of the things that are sort of the gates to some of the fashion weeks and that sort of may turn some people away from either going or participating in Fashion Week. What are some of the things that are people can look forward to in your event that they may not be able to have access to in others?
Right. So my event will be more, well, for one, it's extremely art and music fused. So kind of just like fashion is art, is music, they're all kind of one together. So a lot more art in this and a lot more just, there's not too many designers who are musicians either, if any. So that's another big thing too, is just seeing a musician who's also a designer and he's performing with his clothes that he made on the runway simultaneously. And then, like I said, just more of an inclusive type of an event, to where everybody feels more welcome and feels comfortable there. But don't get me wrong, just to impress. But just more inclusive and more artsy. And we were talking about this earlier in an interview, is including the art in fashion and bringing it back instead of being so cookie cutter and just only suit and ties, making fashion and art, or an art of expression at least, again.
How important is it for someone to express themselves in their most wildest imagination, yet feel safe in their expression at an event like this?
You know, I think only that can come from inside. I'm still working on myself, and when I go wild, I have to control myself and not worry about people's opinions. It's really hard to be true to your art if you're gonna be worried about what people are gonna say. There's kind of that balance of, sometimes you'll make the art for the people and you won't like it. Sometimes you'll make it for yourself and people won't like it, but you'll really like it. So my answer to that is, you just gotta love yourself. It's all gonna be good vibes, but I can't do it for you. You just gotta come in and have fun.
Now, for people that want to get involved, when's the date, and do they still have time to be a part of the show or
sure.
contribute in some type of sport?
We're looking for some more models. We're looking for some more vendors, and I'm looking for some more visual artists as well. So the show is March 24th. Deadline to get involved will be first week of March. So you have a couple weeks if there are some more people trying to get involved. We definitely need visual artists for sure. There'll be a lot of visual art at this event.
All right. Now, for sponsors or businesses that are in makeup or clothing
That would be
or
great too, yeah.
things like that, media or what am I thinking about? Merchandise.
Yeah.
For people that are in those industries that need to connect and need to be in the building, is there a place for them at the show? Is there a way that they can get involved as well?
Yeah, for sure. We have some sponsorship packages still open, and then also that would include vendors too. So some of those people can come vend, and then whether it's just being a part of it as a paid sponsor or being a part of it as a sponsor to help spread the awareness of the show, so that I can spread awareness of your brand as well. So yeah, we're definitely looking for all of that. There's a lot of ways to still be involved. It's growing a lot right now.
Awesome. Now, there's a lot of events, and you're coming from out of Nashville, and then you're from Indianapolis, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see, and maybe it's because of the people that I know, but I see a lot of fashion events. And I don't know if it's become oversaturated or if I'm just aware and I wasn't before. So what's one thing about this event that is going to make it sort of unique or stand out for the people that are thinking, this is just going to be another one that I'm going to either spend too much money at or I'm not going to get a benefit out of it. There's no reason for me to attend this.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you can, talk to them on what separates this from all the
Well,
others?
me as a designer, even right now as you're listening to this, you just go like look at some of my stuff. It's a lot more unconventional and like I said, more of an expression of an art. I'm not just making normal clothes. I'm making stuff that looks good, but not stuff you see every day. And I think that's a part of it is pushing that boundary instead of making the same thing every day. So that would be one thing. Is you'll see an unconventional runway. It won't just be the normal runways that you always see. And then, like I said too, there's not too many. I've been a part of some where they want me to be a part of their shows, and they're telling me that the music doesn't mean too much, and telling me not to worry about the music, that they'll pick the music, and it's just kind of crazy to me that like the music sets the whole vibe. So that's another thing too, is just making sure the music's a part of it. There's, like I said, so much art, not just your normal runway. And then, I'm not 60. I'm 26, so I think it'll be just more of a younger vibe. Nothing against the old people, but just a younger vibe to get the younger people in more into fashion. I think the younger generation is more do-it-yourself. That I see them, whether it's just bleaching their clothes, painting on their clothes. Like I see the younger generation trying to make their own stuff. So just inspiring all of that. And I'm the next like Ralph Lauren, so you get to see me now.
All right, but you're the first Evan.
First
you know
Evan.
what I'm saying? So now talk about who are some of the people that you see, just people of any industry, who you see is killing it in art and just doing it and pushing you to push your boundaries and stay creative. Who are some of the men and women that are out there, or brands even, that are keeping you creative and you see that are pushing the envelope?
I would have to say Kanye for sure. Kanye is one of my first ones. He's my favorite visionary, and he sticks to his vision, hard. So I would say Kanye, and then Will Smith's one of my big inspirations too. He stays at it no matter how old he's getting and what he's doing.
Now, have you followed his gram lately?
Yeah, and that's what's made me pay more attention to him.
Why is Will Smith just not getting on the gram?
I don't know. It's crazy. So I would say Kanye, Will Smith. I know there's some amazing women out there that I'm not thinking of right now. Shout out to Lauren Williams though. She was part of a bullying incident. She's a really good friend, and she turned that around and went viral really quick with her like anti-bully campaign, and now she has like Sierra, Tyra Banks, The View talking to her and stuff like that. So that was really big to see too. She was a really strong woman. She shaved her head after the bully incident and everything, and turned it completely around. But you know what? Honestly, I've been cooped up just working, so I don't pay too much attention. So I'm gonna just say Kanye.
Cool. Now, you spoke about bullying. which I think also comes from or is connected in some shape, form, or fashion to
Yeah,
confidence.
100%.
So, with expression, fashion, confidence, why is confidence, so important for people to build and express themselves through fashion? Because I think fashion fuels confidence,
Yeah,
expression fuels confidence.
yeah.
So why is it important for people to be bold and be unapologetic in their fashion, as long as it's, not overtly offensive, and I mean offensive across the board where everybody can agree,
Right.
because why is confidence so important and for people to express themselves through fashion and art?
Well, when you wake up every day, unless we're gonna walk outside naked, we have to put something on. And usually, what you put on is it's a little bit of a projection of how you're feeling that day or how you want to be perceived that day. Um, but at the same time, going back to Kanye, I've heard Kanye talk about it a few times, and he's tried to work with not Goodwill, but Salvation Army before. Goodwill and Salvation Army, I think. He's tried to work with stores like that, and he's just going back to the bully thing. Lately, I've been trying to make clothes that almost like not make you look homeless, but like you see a lot of people wearing the holes in their jeans, the rips in their shirts now. And my wave has really been trying to bring it back to equality. So like instead of me trying to make things that stand out and make other people not look as good, it's almost like I see Kanye trying to make a lot of stuff that the nicer stuff looks like something a homeless person would wear. And it's weird, but that's an art in itself in trying to like balance those things. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So the confidence is it's hard. That goes back to the other question that you got to believe in yourself. The clothes don't necessarily ever make you, but they do represent who you are because you put them on every day. But for me, I'm trying to go like backwards and make the nicer stuff look not nice, so that I look like the homeless person. You know what I mean?
Nice, nice. Now, a couple of do's and don'ts for photographers or models or fashion designers. Some of the things that you see from your experience that you could help some of the aspiring ones that that are looking to take some notes or get into fashion, get into art, get into these fashion shows. What are some of the, and I know with art there's no don't,
Yeah.
type of thing, but I think there are some general guidelines and general things, of etiquette
Some
or
of my models have not worn deodorant, and my clothes were terrible afterwards. So that's one thing. Models, please. That's ridiculous. Fashion designers. I see a lot of people who come to me asking just how to do it, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I sketch all the time, but I've never really tried to sew." And I was the opposite. I've never sketched in my life, but I've never sketched or really been taught how to sew. I just kind of sat down and wanted to do it, and then spent those 100+ hours doing it. So that's just one thing is don't sit there and sketch a bunch of stuff and then act like you can't sew when you could just do it. That's the biggest thing is just doing it and spending the hours. If that's what you want to do, then you'll enjoy putting the hours into it, and that's really all it takes to a certain extent. Yeah, so models wear deodorant, and designers just do it. Don't keep waiting and sketching stuff, and just jump into it.
absolutely. Now, for this event, when is the event again, and what can people take us a little bit to the event and what we can expect, what they're going to see, what are maybe some of the people affiliated with it, any performing acts, or even designers, and shout out,
Yeah, I do
some
need
of the
to shout
people
out
that
some of the
are doing
designers.
that. So take us through this event, what we can expect, and who's a part of it.
Got you. Shout out to Blossomwood Foundation. The venue is at Hap Space, so March 24th at 2222 Governors Drive Southeast. That's Hap Space, owned by a nonprofit, Blossomwood Foundation, who's doing just amazing things for Uganda and Barbuda and Antigua right now, because the hurricanes hit over there really bad. So that's the nonprofit helping a lot. But as far as people being involved, we do have two really cool people who are kind of blowing up in the model scene. Brindy K, who was just on America's Next Top Model the last season, or this season actually. She's been a good friend before she was on that, so she's coming on the tour with me. And then, like I said, Lauren Williams will be coming on the tour with me, who's getting a lot of press right now. We have the artist Ken the Coach from Nashville coming up to perform. And then designer-wise, we have me and Kaylin Terrell. She's coming from Georgia. Um, and then visual artists, we have 3 blacklight artists actually. So a lot of the paint will be blacklight. Like one whole room will be blacklight. So that'll be really cool too. There's a lot of stuff. It's just a really big multimedia event. So there's a lot to look forward to.
And where online can people go to get more information or follow you and to follow this event up into when it happens?
So Facebook, find the Funck Fashion Tour. Funck spelled Funck. So Funck Fashion Tour, and then there's Funck Fashion Huntsville, Funck Fashion Indianapolis, Funck Fashion Nashville or Huntsville, or Eventbrite as well. You type in Funck Fashion on Eventbrite, it'll be there. So Facebook and Eventbrite will keep you up with the event for sure.
And where can people, if they want to follow for inspiration or, what your trends that you're following or things that you may find interesting, where can they also follow you and some of your work?
Yeah, so my work, the best place to find pictures of my work would be Instagram. It's Evan Gray, but it's 3VAN 6REY. So Evan Gray with a 3 and a 6 for the E and the G. And then Facebook is just Evan Gray, spelled EVANGREY. If you want some inspiration, Balmain. Balmain is really dope. So look at some Balmain stuff.
All right. And break that IG down for them one more time because a couple people like me dyslexic.
3VAN 6REY. So Evan Gray, but just the 3 and a 6 for the E and the G.
All right. Now, if George Clinton come after you and ask you why you put a C before the K in Funck, what's your answer?
I mean, because I'm tired of being considered an urban designer as soon as I walk in the door because I'm black. So it's just like fuck it. Fuck it. That's why, George.
Respectfully so, Mr. Clinton, sir. So now also, before we get out of here, I've also noticed one of the things that's come up a lot of conversations is some of the fashion or some of the designs that you have, some of the newer artists. So your Little Uzi Verts or your Young Thugs or things like that. So where do you think on that, or what are your thoughts on that when you either hear those conversations or you see the guys that are maybe wearing things that other guys may consider, not manly or not, whatever.
Yeah.
What are some of your thoughts on that?
Well, on the music tip on that, I think it's just an evolution of hip hop. Like some people might not have liked Crisscross a while ago because it was completely different. So I think it's just an evolution of hip hop. I'm more of a lyricist, so I don't like trap too much, but I do appreciate it. If I'm in the club, I'm not trying to listen to lyrics. So I do appreciate it, and it's part of the evolution of hip hop, and it's cool to listen to. When it comes to, it's getting a little androgynistic. It's weird sometimes, but I can't say that because my clothing. That's one of my favorite things to do with clothing is just break that gender barrier. Cause I like wearing like tunic. I like wearing longer stuff that like flows with me. I like wearing tunics and ponchos and just stuff that men used to wear thousands of years ago, but now it's considered gay. So like we used to wear that stuff. It's just now it's really homophobic. So I like androgynistic stuff. I think sometimes they push it a little too far to where it's not really fashion. You just look kind of like a girl, and that's pushing it. But I like that. I like breaking gender barriers. Like I said, I think there's just too many barriers in the world, So wherever makes you feel comfortable,
All right. And once again, you guys, we're here with Evan, Paradox East and Network Sweatshirt. Thank you for spending some time with us, and thank you for bringing this art and this experience to the Rocket City area. And you're also going on tour, so where are some of the stops on the tour with you?
So Huntsville's first. April 7th will be Nashville. April 8th is Indianapolis. April 14th will be Chicago.
I don't think I have to tell, or maybe I should remind everybody that we've got to raise the bar. If we're the first stop on the tour, I think it's in our responsibility to, set the bar high and make sure that you're able to kick it off on the right foot and just blow it out the water. So
yeah, definitely. I appreciate you for having me. And March 2nd and March 3rd, I'll be teasing the collection in Alabama Fashion Week. So pay attention to that too. Find Alabama Fashion Alliance. So March 3rd specifically, I'll be teasing a preview of the collection.
Outstanding. Thank you for rocking with us, Evan.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.